Welcome to the online Haccp training for District 833 Nutrition Services. Haccp stands for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points. Our program was developed individually for us by an external analyst to meet our needs. Haccp was originally developed by NASA and Pillsbury in 1969 for the astronauts to use in space to prevent foodborne illnesses. Haccp involves everything we do from receiving food to handling food, temperature controls, cooking and serving, and cleanup. So when you hear someone say or tell you, "We can't do it that way," they are referring to an established Haccp procedure. What your role in Haccp is: every employee applies Haccp every day in many simple ways, from the way we clean to washing our hands and even how we call in sick for work. There are 5 primary types of hazards: bacteria, viruses, pests and rodents, chemical hazards, and physical hazards. What your role in hazards is that our primary goal is to stop the spread of bacteria and viruses. Our best line of defense is washing our hands. We have some preventative measures we have put in place. Time and temperature controls. We have a temperature danger zone from 41 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This 4-hour danger zone. We keep the food in this danger zone for as little time as possible by batch cooking food to ensure it is not held for more than 30 minutes whenever possible, and or vendors deliver directly into the cooler/freezer. We keep cold food cold, below 41 degrees Fahrenheit. We take temperatures of all of our equipment every morning to ensure equipment is working properly. Additionally, we keep hot food hot. Potentially hazardous foods are cooked at least to 165 degrees Fahrenheit or above. Non-potentially hazardous foods are cooked to 145 degrees Fahrenheit or above, such as cheese products. We record every batch/oven load of food, and we also record leftover food, what the holding temperature was at that current time. When food is being served, it is kept warm above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And then when we're finished with the food, it is to be cooled rapidly, 2 hours to reach 70 degrees. We even have an established method for handling things when a corrective action is needed. Here's an example of one of the daily temperature recording sheets to monitor the food temperature. What your role in temperatures is: when something doesn't seem right, tell your manager. Some examples of this is when you feel the milk is warm in the milk cooler, or kids tell you that their food is cold. Sanitizing food contact equipment and utensils. What your role in sanitizing is to wash, rinse, and sanitize at the end of the day and as needed. Wear a glove or use a utensil when serving food. Wash/get clean utensils between each lunch shift. And record the temperatures on the dishwasher temperature log. Here's an example of a dishwasher temperature/sanitizing record. We have a hand washing policy which must be followed to the point exactly. We must wash hands up to the elbows at the start of the day and upon returning from using the restroom. We must wash hands and change gloves if you contaminate them, i.e. touch a freezer door, phone, use a computer, hot pad holders, etc. Additionally, we must wash our hands before each serving shift. If there are 4 serving shifts, then you would wash your hands at least 4 times. We wash our hands in between touching dirty dishes and clean dishes. What your role in hand washing is to follow every step exactly every time you wash. Absolutely no shortcuts. This is the number one way that we can prevent foodborne illnesses. When in doubt, wash your hands. There is no such thing as washing your hands too often. Product freshness. Apply the FIFO system. First in, first out. Date all the products upon arrival with the month and day. And during deliveries, look for signs of thawing/refreezing. Ice crystals are usually a sign of this. Take the temperature of food as needed during the delivery. Look for signs of damage of the participles. And check in all deliveries before the driver leaves. What your role in product freshness is, to be sure to look at the date on boxes, jugs, etc. Use the oldest product first, even if it means you must move several boxes to get to the oldest product. The employee health policy. Call Pat Brown and your manager when you are sick. Be sure to let them know what your symptoms are. We need to track why you are sick in order to avoid an outbreak. Your symptoms also determine the length of time you must be absent to prevent the spread of your condition. It is better to call off than to wait and think you can make it. Then you can't make it after all, which ends up leaving a school short-staffed. It is also better to call off sick than to risk possible contamination of other staff members and students if you are ill. Use of clean packaging materials. Do not reuse materials like plastic wrap or aluminum foil or bags. Transfer all leftovers from their original pan to a clean pan, bag, etc. What your role in clean packaging materials is to use only National Science Foundation approved containers and follow a manager's directions. Pest control program. We store all of our products at least 6 inches off of the floor to prevent rodent infestation and contamination from dust or dirt. The kitchens are sprayed for insects and rodents as needed. What your role in pest control is to tell your manager if you see rodents or insects, even fruit flies. Cross-contamination policy. Clean food preparation areas / sinks in between preparing of different products. This includes panning. Reheated / leftover food is not to be combined with the new product. It is okay to mix product currently being served with more product if the food was all made on the same day and is at the same temperature. If a child touches the food and then decides not to take it, or he or she can't afford it, we can't reuse it if it is an exposed item like a quesadilla. If it is a yogurt which is in a sealed container, however, it is safe to serve. What your role in cross-contamination is, when in doubt, ask your manager. They will let you know how to proceed. You are the last measure of defense in food safety. Storage practices and care and use for chemicals. What your role in chemical storage and care is to wear protective equipment when using hazardous chemicals. Store chemicals away from the food and don't spray sanitizer near food. Care and observation of foreign objects. Our uniform is very clear in regards to hair restraint, nail length, jewelry, etc. to prevent foreign objects from falling into food or contamination. Your apron must be clean each and every day. It is a barrier between you and the food. It serves as a protection between any debris on your clothing and the food. Please put it on after you have arrived at work and have a clean apron daily. If you have pets and hair is readily attached to your clothing, you may want to consider bringing your uniform to the worksite and changing when you get to work to prevent this hair from coming into the kitchen. Bulletin boards with tacks/staples are not to be located in food preparation/storage areas for concern of those articles falling into the food. Tape is to be used when applying bag lunch slips to the actual bag lunch, as opposed to staples, which may fall into the lunch. What your role in care of foreign objects is to wear your uniform and hairnet and apron properly and consistently.